everyone, I'm Kaitlin.
And I'm Jillian.
And we are the hosts of the OK Drama podcast.
We're two friends, recap and break down K-dramas one episode at a time.
Woo!
Hello.
I am so excited to talk about more The Uncanny Counter.
These were good episodes.
Oh, yeah.
These were crazy episodes.
Yeah. And, quick side note, I've seen online that other people say The Uncanny Encounter.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
it's funny.
Not alone. Okay. But first, before we jump into these crazy good episodes, let's talk about where you can find us on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Very first off, please rate and review our podcast wherever you can. Five stars, please.
Only, please.
Please. We love you guys. If you leave us a nice little comment, we'll read it and we'll be like, wow, thank you so much. And Jill will text me and she'll get really happy. So,
anything less than 5, though, just send us an email with your suggestions. And we will fix it.
Yes. Second, you can tweet us at OKDramaPod and Instagram us at OKDramaPodcast. We're also on Facebook sometimes at OKDramaPodcast. And you can email us your constructive criticism and love letters to okdramapodcast@gmail.com. So, we are nearly halfway through this series already, which is crazy. So, be on the lookout for upcoming drama stuff and eventually our polls for the OK Drama Awards.
Yes.
On the Twitter.
So exciting.
Yeah. We also have a website, okdrama.com, where you can find past episodes and links to Fashion Chingu and Daebak Box. We also have a Patreon where you get bonus episodes and fun little stickers and patches and hangouts. Jill and I might have a K-pop party if we get enough patrons.
That'd be fun.
In which you guys and I will just show Jill all of our favorite K-pop videos.
And I'll be like, wow.
Wow. Oh, he's so pretty.
Wow. That's some fast dancing.
And we have an Etsy where we have more fun stickers and pins and patches, and they're real cute.
Super cute.
I think that's it.
I think so too.
Ooh.
Shall we jump into episode 5? I'm very excited.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So, the Netflix synopsis is Do-ha-na saves Moon. I don't like that they just call him Moon. Whatever. Okay. So Moon from the attacks of a powerful demon with a malicious tongue. Ew. Kim Jong-young helps Mo-tak look into his last detective case. Okay. I feel like, I don't know, these synopses are kind of boring, and it's okay, cool. We start where episode 4 ended, of course, and Mo-tak reveals that the last person he called was So-moon's dad, to, the other counter guys. So-moon arrives, oblivious to the whole situation, while the rest of the noodle gang is puzzled. They're like, ooh, what do we do? So So-moon starts working at the noodle shop, and while he's sweeping outside, he sees the territory pop up. And the crew is shocked when they see him touch and interact with the territory, and then they explain that no one else can do that. And he's like, what? He's just, playing with it with his fingers. Meanwhile, our level 3 spirit demon named Changshin shows up at a bakery to buy a cake for his dad's kid, which, awkward. And we see a creepy encounter with another demon person.
That was weird.
I know. It's ew.
I didn't like that.
They have done a really good job at making these demons super fucking creepy. Because, at the bakery, he, looks at her and, the demon face is just kind of, like, cackling.
Yeah, in the reflection.
Like, don't like that. Okay. So, we end up following that demon person home, and she straight up poisons her husband with peanuts, because he's, like, super allergic, and she, like, clearly hates this man. I mean, he doesn't seem great, but he doesn't seem awful either.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's done, but...
Yeah. It's just uncomfortable when he's, like, hugging her and trying to kiss her, and you can see her, like, pulling away. It's just... it's an uncomfortable scene.
For sure. But yeah, she, like, puts a big old glob of peanut butter in his smoothie, and he goes into, like, anaphylactic shock, and she doesn't save him. So she steals his money, like, she uses his thumb to get into his phone, and transfers money, puts on some super sharp fake nails, has a nice mirror chat with her demon inside, and they go shopping. Because, like, the demon, like, grabs her through the mirror, and it's like, hey, we're finally meeting.
So creepy.
I know.
And then we find out that she also killed her previous husband, too.
Yes.
And that's when the spirit, like, first came to be.
Yeah.
Like, found her.
Bad news. Bears. Not good. Okay. So, we cut back to Chong-shin, who delivers the cake to his father, which is the guy from the junkyard who gave him the assignment from the last episode. So, I'm still kind of having a hard time figuring out who is related to who and who is everyone, but it's kind of coming together a little bit more. So, Chong-shin is, like, very timid in front of his dad, and he, like, sheepishly admits that he killed Chairman John, which is the guy in the wheelchair from the previous episode, where he, like, literally cut up with scissors. So horrifying. So his dad starts to beat him in the kitchen of the restaurant.
And no one cares.
No, I'm like, does he own this restaurant? Like, what's the deal? Like, okay. And Chong-shin seems super sorry, but his demon temporarily comes out and tells his dad, like, I wanted to kill him. And his dad's like, ooh.
So fucking creepy, these people.
I know. Not good. I would be like, we are going to a priest or a shaman or something.
Somewhere.
We gotta get that thing out of you. Okay. Back at the shop, the Noodle Gang tries to see if So-moon can summon the territory whenever he wants, since that would be, like, a huge advantage for them. So-moon wonders if he can do it, since it seems like it always pops up when he needs it to, and then we get a funny scene of him yelling and just kind of, like, being a goof, like, trying to summon the territory, but his attempts are unsuccessful, so the crew gives up and eats ice cream instead. They're just a fun little gang. So, while they're eating ice cream, So-moon and Hana have a vision of another level 3 spirit. It's the crazy woman from before. And apparently she's killed a previous husband, as you said, or husbands, ? I don't know. And now she's at the mall, just like, you know, living her little best demon life. Spending her dead husband's money. So, the gang rushes to the department store where So-moon and Hana saw her, and they split up to try to find her. The rest of the gang warns So-moon to be careful, but of course, he's the one who ends up finding her. And the demon woman also catches the attention of the mall security team after she savagely rips the necklace off of a saleswoman's neck. She, like,
She's
scratches
just, like,
her.
Off her fucking rocker at this point.
Oh, yeah, just, like, out in the open, like, talking to her demon self.
And being, like, crazy aggressive towards regular people, like...
Yeah.
It's just weird, like... Not even trying to hide the fact that you're a crazy person here.
Yeah, like, at least Chong-shin is, like, super on the down low and just, like, hides out and wears his, like, little hood. But she's, like, out here flaunting it.
I think her demon is very excited to be out in the open.
They're besties now. So, So-moon follows her into an elevator and calls for his team. And they eventually end up alone on the elevator after the other shoppers get out. And she beats the crap out of Se-moon. Like, he is no match for her. Or he was, like, not prepared. So, thankfully, Hana shows up and they start to fight. And she lasts a little longer than Se-moon, but the spirit does get the best of her. The evil woman spirit reads Hana's memories while she's, like, choking her, which is, like, really scary. And we see that Hana's family died. And I said maybe from poison. Like, it kind of looked like they were all throwing up. And, like, it's unclear to me, like, if her sister is still alive or if her sister died also. But the demon is, like, taunting her. And eventually Se-moon comes to his senses and steps in. But the demon still seems stronger than both of them. Because they're both not at their full strength. Because she beat them up. So it's a rough fight. Thankfully, the elevator finally stops on Motok's floor. And he punches her super hard. But then he realizes the cops / security team guys are already there. So he hands her over and then they run away. Because they're like, hey, wait. And he's like, nope, sorry, gotta go, bye. So, the Noodle Gang explains to Se-moon that sometimes earthly law enforcement catches the demon person before they can, so they just have to wait and kind of keep an eye on them.
That sucks.
I know. It's like, well, how are you supposed to free the eaten spirit?
Yeah, like, that's the part that's really troublesome.
Yeah. The gang arrives back at the shop, but Hana is still upset and refuses to be healed by Mayok. She starts hitting a punching bag and crying downstairs, like just trying to get everything out. But then Se-moon shows up and grills her some meat since she said the sound of it soothes her, like earlier in the car when they were talking about like getting into the zone or whatever. He opens up a little bit more about his painful past, and we learn that his best friend used to bully him. But yeah, now they're best friends now. And it seems like he's cheered her up, and we get a little scene of them sparring and looking cool, and like they're clearly becoming more friendly with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet babies. And like it makes me sad that Hana is just like keeping all of this to herself.
It's tough.
Very, very private. So Motok is still up to his detective shenanigans and reaches out to Detective Kim about Kim Young-nim's disappearance case. They go to her old apartment and find bloodstains on the walls. And again, Kim Young-nim was like, I guess her information was in Motok's old phone before he died. So they take swabs of the blood and he starts to look at her more affectionately. And he apologizes for not remembering her, but she gets called away to another case. And it's the chairman's murder case. Ooh, I know. So, Se-moon is about to go home, but ends up following Hana. She goes to visit her old house, and Se-moon reveals himself when they find one of Se-moon's classmates and her little sister living in the house, which is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, these two little babies squatting in, like, an abandoned house.
Shitty.
I know. They beg Se-moon not to turn them in since they don't want to live with their father, so he calls Motok to ask for guidance. Meanwhile, we get scenes of the shitty, corrupt police force dealing with the chairman's murder. The mayor and his cronies have already bribed the police chief to cover it up, and he looks so uncomfortable during all of this. And I'm like, guy, if you have an issue with it, you need to resign.
Yeah.
Like, you need
to do the fucking right thing.
Yeah, you need to resign, and you need to, like, call in an anonymous tip, and then, like, get the fuck out of Korea if you have to. Like, I mean, I know it almost seems like to the K2 level where they could, like, have people find you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at what cost? Like...
Yeah, it's overboard. This whole police station is just completely fucked. Like... That girl is the only fucking normal person there who's trying to do the right thing. And now her assistant. But, like, nobody else is trying to actually solve crimes or help people. It's
really shitty. So, the other shitty detectives show up to the crime scene, but thankfully Detective Kim and her partner got there first, and they lock the dudes out, which was so satisfying to watch. And they're like, ah, like banging on the doors. And I'm like, don't destroy the evidence. Get your fucking hands off those doors. Okay, so they are able to let the CSI guys do their work, and she tells her partner to take in as much information as possible since it's already getting fishy. It's like, we might not have access to this anymore, so, like, take it all in now. Yeah. Also, her poor little assistant partner guy was, like, horrified, and it was unclear to me, did the guy cut out the other guy's organs and, like, put them in the safe?
I think so.
That's, like, really intense.
I think that's what he was cutting.
Okay, like cutting the organs out of his body.
Yeah. So gross.
I don't like that. It's really scary.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. And this seems like his first big case, like...
Poor guy.
Boy. I know.
Poor guy to be, like, in a case like this, it's really, like, crazy and upsetting and traumatic, and then to be in such a shitty fucking force.
Yeah, where it's, like, clearly a cover-up job and, like, super high profile, like... Ugh.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, Motok arrives at Hana's old house right before the demolition crew, aka Chingu, the druggies gang, shows up. So, I don't know what it is with these demolition crews, because it reminded me into, like, what's that movie? The Along with the Gods. Where they had that demolition crew come. I'm like, are these guys just, like, fucking gangsters? Like, what's happening here? Do they just hire people who like to break shit, or what? The Noodle Gang starts to beat up the crew, so they leave the girls alone. Also, like, how shitty to, like, intimidate these poor girls. And then Motok spots Chingu. He is high as a kite. From, I'm assuming, cocaine.
Something.
So then the demolition crew recognize Motok and are shocked since he's supposed to be dead. Motok jumps on Chingu's car and confronts him. Because he's like, he kind of recognizes him, but he doesn't really know why he recognized him other than from the police station. But Chingu is like, what the fuck is happening? So then we see a flashback of Chingu stabbing Motok from right before he went into the coma. But Motok jumps off the building and his body lands on a parked car. But then we see right before he jumped off the building, he tells Chingu that he'll remember his face. End of episode.
I just don't understand how nobody knew Motok was alive when he's, like, living in the same city. Like,
I know.
He's never left, and he's, like, working at what seems like a really amazing hole-in-the-wall noodle shop that, like, everyone frequents.
Yeah, they say, like, it's, like, all over social media and stuff.
Yeah, I just don't understand how nobody has recognized him. No one has seen him, like, just out and about, you know?
Yeah, it's also kind of crazy that, like, we'll see it in episode 6, but that, like, no one even bothered to follow up with it. Like, they just trusted the word of these two, like, shitty gangster druggies. Like, what?
Yeah.
Someone, it seems like this important enough to, like, assassinate. Like, you're not gonna check your work.
Yeah. Make sure that the job has been done. Crazy. But jumping into episode 6... Synopsis says, while the Counters attempt to keep the truth behind his painful past from Moon, he discovers a mysterious memory card among his parents' belongings. So we pick up right where 5 ended. The demolition crew has run off because they've been beaten up and they're freaked out from seeing Motok. Hana, Motok, and So-moon drag Chingu away so Hana can read his memory, and she's able to confirm that he did in fact stab Motok, but most of his memories are really fuzzy because he's so drugged up and, like, just can't recall that far back. She does see that he seems to be working for his brother, though. Mm-hmm. The crew finds out his brother happens to be an executive at Taishin Group, which is the company that is involved with the mayor and all of the redevelopment. So it's just going all the way to the top, as we know. Mm-hmm. Everything's weirdly connected. They decide to use Chingu as bait to lure out his brother. So they just put him in a huge bag, and they address it to Hongyu, and they leave it outside of the company headquarters. And it just looks like a bag of garbage with his name on it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and like as he's leaving the company, like the building, he sees the bag, and he goes over to it and just sees his brother. I guess that's his brother.
Yeah, and his security guy is like, I'll go look in it for you. And he's like, no, I'll look at it. I'm like, oh no, if I had a security team, I'd be like, I'm not looking in that suspicious package.
Yeah.
Like, let's call the fucking cops first.
I'm just, like, slightly confused with everyone's familial relationships. Mm-hmm. Because the guy who is beating him up, is that his dad?
Wait, what?
The guy that beat him up in the kitchen?
That's a different person.
No, I'm saying that, is that his dad? Is that Changgu's dad?
Oh, is that Chingu? No, I don't think so.
Because they word it in a weird way, like, he's his son, is what I got from subtitles, unless I'm crazy.
Okay, because, Chongqing the demon is the son of the guy who beat him up. And then Chingu is, like, the druggie whose brother is the Taishin executive. So I think those are two different families.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm confused. Okay. I'm confusing two shitheads, I guess?
Yeah, I think you're confusing the demon and the druggie. Maybe. Is that what's happening?
Well, I thought... I'm so confused with who's who.
Okay.
Do those guys just look really similar?
They're both bald. But Chingu is, like, kind of dumb. Mm-hmm. And he's older. So if we think about it, Chingu was on the roof with Motak when Motak died. Mm-hmm. And Chongqing was in the truck that hit someone's parents.
Okay.
Spoiler.
So they're both related. Like, related to the crime.
To the crime, yeah. They're both involved because it seems like there are, like, three groups. There's, like, the mayor and his shit. There's, like, the Taishan people and their shit. And then there's, like, the third group, which I think might be related to, like, the mayor's business partner guy.
Okay.
And so they all have their shit involved in this case. But, yeah, Chongqing the demon killed someone's parents, and Chingu tried to kill Motak.
Yeah.
So.
I feel really dumb just thinking these were the same guys.
Oh, no.
I'm so confused. They look so much alike, and
they do.
That other one's always wearing, like, a hood?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Okay. I'm just going to pretend like I know what's happening now.
Okay.
Okay. So,
also, their names are kind of similar, too.
Yeah. And I don't really pay attention to their names either, I feel like. Because I'm, like, reading the actual story of what's happening. And I'm not really looking at faces either, I feel like.
Yeah, that's
It's the subtitle issue. Mm-hmm. So if they look just, like, kind of similar and they're both shitty, I guess, assumed it was the same person.
You're like, okay, it's a bald shithead.
Yes. Okay. So they leave this guy out at the headquarters. He gets found in the bag, blah, blah, blah. And the next day, someone's friends start telling him about a crazy story of a woman who attacked people at the mall. And it gets really kind of awkward because the friends start pushing him to fess up that it was him because they mentioned how there was a guy with curly hair that, like, helped to catch her. Mm-hmm. And they just assume it's been him. Which also, I have to say, I really thought it was so dumb when they showed Motak when he first, like, woke up from his coma. and his hair just started curling
through
the bandages. Like, it just looked so fucking stupid. These
funny
little curls just pumping out. So weird. But they really want him to tell them what's going on and, like, what he did. And he jokingly runs away from them on his bike, but ends up near the intersection where his parents died. He starts to panic, but his friends are supportive, and they tell him that if he ever wants to go there, they'll be there for him, and they'll go with him. And then we cut back to the gangsters and Chingu, who is chilling in a factory, looking sort of hospital bed. Hong-gyu, his brother, comes in to check on him and asks what happened the night before. Then one of the other dudes comes in, like one of the other guys that was there. And at first it's really funny because he comes in with like snacks, kind of like dancing in. Like, hey. And then he realizes who's there and he gets really scared. But he says that Motok was there. And Chingu can't believe it's actually Motok. And he doesn't remember anything because they erased his memory. But
and he was so high, too.
Yeah. But Hong-gyu starts to suspect that Chingu didn't actually confirm his death. And he's like, no, like, we made sure. We checked. He was dead. Even though they didn't. They just looked at him from the roof. And then Hong-gyu at this point is, like, super pissed. So he tells the gangster guys to find Motok and bring him in. And then a little later in the episode, we see Chingu confront the girls living in Hana's old house.
Oh, so stressful.
Yeah, creepy and uncomfortable. Meanwhile, So-moon and Motok continue to investigate the ties between Hong-gyu and Chingu and Kim Young-nim. So-moon senses there is something fishy going on and also reveals that his parents' team was investigating Hong-gyu. He also goes through the parents' belongings just to see, like, what he can find, I guess, in anything that they had. It sucks that all he has is, like, a little box of memories. But as he's kind of going through things, he finds a memory card that's hidden in his dad's notebook. He puts the memory card in his phone and sees a suspicious video of cars driving by at night. And there's, like, zero information of what this is or what it means. You just see cars zooming by. Motok takes So-moon with him to the lab, and Motok clearly enjoys hanging out with So-moon. Like, they get along really nice. It's a cute relationship that they have.
Yeah.
So-moon stays in the car while Motok talks to Detective Kim, and she tells him about another case she's working on. He wants to help, but she won't let him. And then she tells Motok she'll run the blood samples through their database to see if they get any matches, but then has to run after getting another phone call. And as she's going back to her car, So-moon is sitting in his car and he recognizes her. And then we get a flashback of Detective Kim Jong-young interviewing him after the accident. And he's, like, really little and he won't talk because he blames himself.
He's sad.
And his grandmother's, like, trying to get him to speak and he's just looking out the window all sad. And then So-moon tells Motok that he recognizes her, and they realize that the suspect in her murder case is a demon after they find bloody footprints on a rooftop. They see like weird little glass bloody footprints, and then those footprints disappear, and they check up on the roof, and they see it up top. There's also a funny scene with the little chubby kid. And
they're like, look over there.
Look over there. And then when he turns back, he sees, like, the very, like, tail end of them jumping over. And the little boy's like, what? What did I just see? And so, at some point in the episode, Sung Pil, who is Chung Shin's dad, tries to kill his son after being pressured by Hong-gyu. And so this is, like, again, where it gets confusing with people being connected and, like, weird.
Yeah, I kind of left this out in the previous episode, but it was, like, the scene where all of these, like, freaking corrupt officials are trying to get their shit together. And so, like, Hong-gyu from Taishin is, like, trying to clean everything up. And so, I guess, what's his name? Sung Pil is like the hitman organizer, or like the guy who, maybe not the hitman, because they weren't supposed to kill the chairman. They were just supposed to, like, I guess, bully him.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, and so Hong-gyu tells Sang-pil, like, if your dude keeps fucking up, like, you need to teach him a lesson. And if you can't do it, then I'll get one of my guys to do it. Yeah. And then Sang-pil gets all pissed off. Yeah.
So at this point, he feels like he must kill Chung-shin. And they're, like, sitting together at, like, a junkyard. And he brings him a drink or whatever. And they're talking about, like, how he fucked up. And Chung-shin seems, like, kind of slow. But he also loves his dad. And he talks about, like, he still has, like, a wallet that he's had since he was a kid. And in there is, like, a ticket to, like, a baseball game or something. And then his dad tells him, like, when you drink, you're supposed to turn away from your elders, blah, blah, blah. And then he pulls out the gun and is holding it. And the demon, like, realizes that there's a gun pointed at him. And the sun, like, starts to change. And the demon is able to force him to turn the gun on himself, on Sang-pil's self, and eventually pull the trigger. It's really fucked up and crazy.
I was like, ooh, this is kind of scary.
Yeah, it was creepy. Motak and Somun start going through evidence back at the noodle shop, but Somun gets suspicious when he sees Motak trying to hide papers from him. He eventually realizes that his parents were involved with this case too. Motak reveals that Somun's parents were actually murdered, and Somun, of course, freaks out. Hana and Mayok come in after hearing the shouting. Somun can tell that they all knew about his parents and were hiding it from him, so he lashes out at the gang and runs away after Hana mentions that he may have a memory of the killer hidden away in his brain. Somun calls his friends and he begs them to go to the intersection with him. And he's very distraught and almost gets hit by a big truck. And he's begging himself to remember what happened. And then thankfully his friends, like, pull him out from the road. But it's just, like, so fucked up. Like, this truck doesn't even attempt to stop. It's so far away.
Yeah.
And there's, like, multiple...
It's just, like, honking.
There's, like, two moments where these trucks and cars and stuff just, like, zoom by, even though they see, like, a bike on the road or, like, a person there. And they're just like, I guess I'm gonna hit him.
Yeah.
I can't use my brakes. It's so crazy.
I feel like I have PTSD from this show and fucking Goblin, because I saw a big truck, not like an 18-wheeler, but a truck of, you know, that type of size, driving down the street when I was, like, getting ready to turn out of my neighborhood, and I was like, oh god, one of those trucks. So scary.
The next day, Mayok is stressed as Somun keeps ignoring her calls. His phone is just fucking straight up off. Hana waits for Somun at his house and tells him she can help him remember. And then we get, like, a dumb, funny scene of Somun introducing Hana to his grandparents as his girlfriend, even though she clearly tells him not to say that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Motak and Mayok go to Young to confront their spirit people about why Somun hasn't gotten to see his parents yet. And they're saying, like, you made this promise to him, you need to keep it. What are y'all doing up here? Y'all are just fucking sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah, it's funny because Mayoko's like, this time, like, we'll beg them and, like, we'll be nice. Like,
we're not going to yell.
Yelled at them. Yeah, and she goes in there like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, Mayok hopes that if Somun can see his parents, he will feel better about the whole situation and he'll kind of calm down a little bit. But then the spirits are like, well, they haven't ascended. And everyone's just like, what? And then they realize, like, that means that either one, they're roaming the netherworld, two, they've turned into evil spirits, or three, they've been eaten by an evil spirit.
Not good.
We can guess which one. We cut back to Hana and Somun delving into Somun's memory. Hana is supportive, but she tells him that he can't disrupt the memory. Like, he can't do anything that's going to change the actions of the world. And then they're in the car as Somun relives a tragic accident. So-moon is sobbing, and he's grieving the death of his parents again, as Hana observes who the murderers are. So-moon and Hana watch as So-moon's parents' souls are consumed by an evil spirit. Hana then recognizes the spirit as the level 3 she fought earlier, and it is Chung-shin. Mm-hmm. Hana follows him to get, like, a clear visual of him, like, making sure, like, holy shit, it is him. Mm-hmm. But then suddenly, this fucking demon, like, his eyes, like, start to turn to the left where she's standing
creepy.
And look at her. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, kind of freaking out, like, he can't see me, what is happening?
Yeah, and like, then this can't be real.
Yeah, and then the demon starts to threaten her, and he's like, you're the bitch from earlier.
He's like, I'm gonna remember you.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember your fucking face so I can kill you.
So scary.
And she's, like, fucking terrified, and she's telling So-moon, like, we need to go. And then So-moon starts heading towards Chung-shin, but Hana's telling him, like, no, stay calm, like, we can't do this. He ignores her, he punches Chung-shin, but then Chung-shin grabs him by the throat, and he's like, oh, I guess you're the little boy in the car. And then it's the end of the episode, and everything is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is real? What's real life here? What's going on?
Yeah. Like, how does your... Because it's not like they travel back in time. Like, they just went into a memory. So, like, how does that work?
Yeah.
It's like Inception.
Yeah, this is shit I don't get. Confusing things. Yeah. Like, that demon is just so fucking strong now. Mm-hmm. He can sense everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, like, defy the real world and force the dad to pull the gun on himself.
Yeah, like, that was crazy.
It's a very, very strong demon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, if that woman demon is gonna come back in some way. Mm-hmm. And, like, what if they team up? Or, like, I don't know, like, because...
Yeah, it was interesting how she, like, looked at him.
Uh-huh. Also, it seems like Chung-shin is, like, kind of dependent on his dad. Mm-hmm. Because they even say, like, he doesn't have a social security number. Like, it seems like this person is, like, not on the grid. I don't know how they kept him. Like, I guess he was born at home and no one ever, like, told anyone about it. Like,
yeah, there's some fuckery happening. Like, also the fact that the dad has this little son now who, like, gets seemingly all the attention. Yeah, has a great life. It doesn't seem like this guy had any of that growing up. The most it seems he had was a baseball game that he holds on to.
Yeah. And then I didn't really write it down, but, like, all of the crazy stuff in Kim Young-nim's apartment where, like, was the chairman at her place when she died? Like,
yes, because there's a book of that guy. And in there is, like, it shows him, and then there's a photo of that girl that was murdered.
And the mayor.
Or that is missing.
Yes.
But presumed murdered.
Because there's her blood on the wall.
Yeah.
And she was pregnant.
Yep.
And there was animal blood.
Yep. Fucked up. Yeah.
Crazy. Do you have any predictions?
I don't know.
I felt good about my prediction of, like, coming true that someone's parents were eaten.
Yeah.
But I think I kind of threw it out there last week, like, oh, well, maybe it was Chung-shin, like, the demon guy, but I was wondering how old he was. Mm-hmm. But I guess he was, like, 19 when he did that. So he's been, like, living with these spirits for 7 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm curious who that woman was pregnant by.
Yeah.
I would think it would need to be, like, a mayor.
Yeah.
Someone of high importance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, like, the mayor... So the mayor's dad used to work for the chairman also. So I'm, like, trying to remember how, like, they're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the mayor's business partner who rents the land from the chairman, I don't know how he's connected to all this either.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, the confusing part to me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wonder if it was, like, a shady pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want it coming out.
Mm-hmm. But then there's all this stuff about the radioactivity from, like, episodes 1 and 2. I'm like, well, where does that come into play? Like, was she about to expose something? Like...
Yeah.
I wonder, because if she's like, I'm pregnant, I can't live like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm pregnant, it's your baby, and you're fucking up the planet.
Yeah, you're poisoning everyone. Yeah. Wow. What's with the animal blood, too? That's the weird part to me. Like, because even when you cook, you don't usually have, like, blood.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know. It's weird.
Unless she had a pet or something.
Maybe. And I know, like, sometimes, like, I've seen in, like, historical dramas or whatever, like, shamans or, like, witches or whatever use animal blood for, like, rituals and stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, that seems weird for this setting.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I don't know. So crazy. I can't think of anything to predict. I'm just like, I need to know what happens next.
Yeah. Need to watch more.
Okay, do you have any fashion?
Yes, God!
No. I got nothing.
Yeah. I just like the detective's oversized denim jacket and her little pixie kind of thing. I feel like she looks better with that hair than she did with her long hair in the flashback.
I agree.
So, but yeah, just a lot of tracksuits and business attire and school uniforms going on. So.
Yeah, nothing really exciting on this series, fashion-wise.
Yeah. It's okay if the story is exciting.
Yes. But if the story blows and there's not even anything good to look at, then ugh.
That's when we get into a different drama. Okay. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I will always love you.
I love you.
You can say yours first.
Okay. I said, Someone's friends just being, like, so supportive of him. They were so sweet, and it kind of made me tear up. I was like, oh. They're just, like, holding him while he's crying. And then I think I had one more thing written down, but I can't remember.
You have the thing about the grandpa.
Oh, yeah. I thought the grandpa being like, keep your door open was funny. And it just makes me happy because it seems like So-moon hasn't really gotten to live, like, a normal teenage life. And I feel happy for his grandpa being like, oh, like, not that his, I guess, disability or whatever made him not normal. But you know what I mean? Like, his grandpa's just happy he has a girlfriend and, I don't know. It's cute.
He's going out and doing things.
Yeah, but then his grandma being like, who's this bitch? Or whatever.
I will say Hana kind of reliving her memory of her family. Because that's just, like, really sad, and it's like a sad I love you moment.
Yeah, missing her family.
Yeah. And not feeling like she can talk to anyone about it.
Yeah. I hope she eventually opens up.
Totally. I feel like it'll happen, and it'll happen with So-moon.
Yeah. So, like we said, next week will be the halfway mark. And I'm just wondering, like, if they're gonna ride this, like, Changshin demon story all the way through, or if, like, that's going to be, like, a mid-series finale.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna, like, find another...
Yeah, I mean, shit's already getting crazy at the end of this episode, like... Because he knows what both of them look like.
Yeah. I feel like they have to wrap it up with Changshin, maybe, but then, like, switch gears to the mayor.
Especially now that, like, his dad is dead.
Yeah, like, it doesn't seem like he has a lot of people to turn to.
He might just start to go crazier at this point.
Yeah. And, also, I think, was it Motok or somebody said, like, they're in that town because it's, like, a hotbed of demon activity, so it's, like, I don't know, I feel like they have to deal with the mayor and, like, all of that stuff, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like within these next 2 episodes, they can close up the case of Changshin and his parents and stuff, someone's parents, and, like, let them ascend or whatever, get to see them. But then after that, there's still everything with Motok and how now bad people know he's still alive.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, or Detective Kim. I want to see them be together and be happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, very exciting stuff. I don't really have anything for other drama corner. So, I guess that's it. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
Okay.
Just watch the next 2 eps and be ready.
Be ready for more craziness. Because I am certainly ready. Okay. Well, I guess we will talk to you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay.